And so I want to welcome everyone to the Trust Frequency Embodied. And it's a mind, heart, body coherence exercise. So we're going to give something for your spirit and your heart. Andrew's going to give a meditation, and Andrew and I are going to give some information for our minds so we can align our minds and our hearts with some assumptions from our book, The Trust Frequency, 10 Assumptions for a New Paradigm, which this is our book that we've written with this construct on the nature of the universe.
So if you can imagine 10 assumptions that will create a new paradigm, that's exactly what we're talking about.
And then Wowza, Elisa Lodge, will be doing the embodiment. And Wowza, you could just come out and say hello.
At this point?
Well, why not?
Okay,
just let people know who she is.
Hang on then, I need to spotlight her. Here comes Wowza. Hello, Wowza. There she is.
Wowza.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, she's
Yay.
Okay, so this is Wowza, and that's Andrew Cameron Bailey.
And my ambition in life is to have Wowza smile. Wow.
So you're Andrew Cameron Bailey.
Oh, I am?
Yes.
And you are Connie Baxter Marlow.
Yes. So
right.
You've got the team here. And what we'll do first is Andrew will do this meditation to take us into this space of the conscious loving universe. Oh, hold on. We're going to have people introduce themselves.
Oh, let's do that.
Yeah, we want you folks, so if you'd like, to just say what your name is, right. Our Zoom people. And Facebook Live, we're really happy you're here. Whoever's on Facebook, we're not going to be able to see your comments, but please leave comments and we'll read them later.
Right.
And anyone who's here who would like to introduce themselves, just say your name and where you're calling from would be great. And if you so choose.
So I'm going to unmute everybody, if I can figure that out. Way to go. There we are. Getting there. I'm unmuting everybody.
So
and please just chip in and say, hi, I'm Don Pett, and et cetera, et cetera. Hello, Don.
Hi, I'm Don Pett.
Okay. So who's going to go first? Kate, you want to go first?
Just letting you know I'm here. I'm making a little coleslaw next door, but I'm Elisa.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
And when Wowza is moving, you can bet
You're in South Dakota, right, Kate?
Yes.
Nice to see you, Kate. Hi.
All right.
And who's next?
We have Dawn.
Hi, I'm Dawn.
No.
All right. You've got voice, Dawn.
So
I know.
Who is speaking?
It's Carol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't see your picture.
Right. We just see your name. So okay. So hello, Karen. Thank you. Where are you calling in from?
Paris.
From Paris. Oh, nice. We liked Paris.
Oh, is this Carol?
Yes.
Hi, Carol.
Okay.
Okay.
Karen.
Okay, and there's Karen.
Oh, there she is.
Hi, this is Karen. I'm in Costa Rica.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, man. I want to be in Costa Rica as well. I love Costa Rica. Thank you.
Anyone else?
So was that Carolyn? Carolina?
Carol. Okay, looks like that's everybody. So now we'll go.
All right. I'm going to mute everybody again. And I think we are good.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to open with a centering practice. We're going to go into a place that we like to call the trust frequency, which is a vibratory realm of peace and security and comfort and beauty. And if you've been on this call these last 2 weeks, you'll know that we started right after Mother's Day. We went into the womb of our own mothers, where we experienced 9 months of absolute perfect security, didn't we not? And then last week we were working on the first assumption, which is we live in a conscious, loving universe. And our meditation had to do with what does it feel like? What is the experience of living in a conscious, loving universe? And today we're going to present the second assumption, which is the universe loves us unconditionally. It gives us everything we ask for, which, as you can see, is related to the first assumption. It's an expansion or an extension of the first assumption. And so let's close our eyes and see how it feels, see what the experience is of existing within a conscious, loving universe that loves us unconditionally. In other words, we don't have to pass some kind of test. We don't have to be good enough. We can be exactly who we are, and the universe loves us unconditionally and provides all of our needs. So sit with your spine erect and feel just what it's like to be a human being in a body contained in a conscious, loving universe that loves us unconditionally. And let's take 3 deep, centering, cleansing breaths. Inhale. And let it go. And inhale. And let it go. And on the last one, inhale all of the beauty of the universe into your heart. And when you exhale, let go any doubt, any fear, any concerns. Inhale. And let it go. And with your eyes closed, realize that we are always permanently in a place that we can describe as the conscious, loving universe. The universe is not a giant machine. It's not a clockwork mechanism. It's a living, organic, biological reality. It is alive. It loves us. It is us. We are so completely connected to the conscious, loving universe. It's very much as we were when we started out on this life's journey. I was back in 1943 in England during World War II in a city that was severely bombed. I was absolutely secure inside the womb of my mother, and I was connected to my mother by this marvelous thing called the umbilical cord. And that situation continues to this day and continues forever. We are permanently connected to the loving universe by a spiritual umbilical cord. Some people see it as a silver thread. Some people see it as a golden thread or a golden mist or a glow, because we are completely, permanently connected and interconnected with each other and with the planet we live on and with the solar system we live within and with the Milky Way, the galaxy where we are currently spending our time, and on out to the furthest reaches of the universe. These furthest reaches are not far away from us. In fact, they are right here, right now, because we are completely connected to the universe. And the universe loves us, nurtures us, cherishes us in ways that we've all known from our earliest, before we took our first breath. I think that's extraordinary. Let's just sit in that reality and know that we are loved unconditionally. Just feel the breath, the air entering your lungs and leaving your body. And realize how extraordinary that experience is. We don't know many planets that have atmospheres, and we take this one for granted. We live on this beautiful planet and we breathe this beautiful air, without which we wouldn't last very long. It's extraordinary. It is cause for great gratitude. It is cause for great joy. It is cause for great, what's the word? Caring, as we realize that our endangered planet, surrounded by this very, very minimal shell of a mixture of gases that we call the atmosphere, that supports us and supports all of life and has recently become endangered. Every breath we take, we're breathing part of that atmosphere. And it's the same air that the ancient ones breathed. It's the same air that Jesus breathed. It's the same air that the great blue whale breathes every time she comes to the surface of the ocean and breathes, and on and on and on throughout all of life. This is where we are, always, every moment, every breath of our lives. And I suspect that most of us don't remember that or realize that. So this series of meditations is about remembering who we are, remembering where we are, remembering what we are. So sit here just a few seconds longer in the silence and the beauty and the safety of the conscious, loving universe, held in the hands of unconditional love. And when you are ready, take your time, gently come back into your body. Come back to wherever you're sitting, into the room, onto your chair, your seat, your cushion. And take a deep breath once again. And let it go. Ah, we are loved. And opening our eyes, here we are on a Zoom call with a group of beautiful people and connected to many others on Facebook Live. Here we are. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Andrew. That's so beautiful. Yes, to open our hearts to that love, to the love we are and to the love that made us and made all things. The consciousness of unconditional love. So what we have now is 10 minutes of some information for our minds, because our minds sabotage our hearts. Do you want to get that thing up on the screen?
I'll do that.
So our minds, no matter what our heart believes and knows, because it knows our true nature, our nature of a loving being, it knows the true nature of the universe, but does it act accordingly? Well, with our second assumption, which is here on the screen, we resolve the paradox that we presented in the first assumption. Because in the first assumption, we said we live in a conscious, loving universe. There is only love. Well, in this few minutes, we're going to resolve that paradox that we see when we look around us and see all the things we call not love.
Excuse me, I didn't ask for war or a pandemic or cancer or all of these nasty things that humans have done throughout history.
Well, guess what? We did, in fact, ask for these things because we don't understand what our requests are to this conscious, loving universe. That, here's the second assumption, loves us unconditionally. It gives us everything we ask for. Well, what are our requests? That's what we don't understand.
Whether or not we consciously request these things we ask for.
Right.
So do we understand that we are asking with every thought, with every breath? We're actually part of a conscious, loving universe, and we're part of a co-manifestation entity. Whoa, okay.
So what we have to understand is that unconditional love doesn't mean that it's going to be kind to us, that it's going to, all those things we think of as love, okay, in our human aspect of thinking about love, we think of kindness, compassion, empathy,
being
nice, all those things.
Bringing you flowers.
Bringing flowers. And so what we defined love as in our definitions, as, you want to tell them what the love?
Which we dealt with the definition, some terminology in the first of these events, which was, 2 weeks ago now. So when we talk about love, and most people think of love as the things Connie was just relating, but if you read the definitions in the Trust Frequency book, we're actually talking about something that sounds more like something from science, something from physics, from unified physics or quantum science. Love is the fundamental creative and sustaining force of the universe.
Right.
It's literally a quantum field. Don't forget that last week we said there is nothing but love. There is only love. The universe consists of love.
So also in our definitions, we defined humanity as a collection of divine, autonomous, sovereign beings who chose to incarnate on earth on the soul's journey to wholeness, which is our alignment with our divinity and our true purpose. Okay, so we came with a gift and a purpose. And we told this loving universe, okay, loving universe, I'm going to earth to experience certain experiences so that I can learn to love all of myself. It's about self-acceptance and alignment with our divinity. That's what we're doing as a human race, is we're coming into alignment with our divine selves, our understanding of our incredible human potential and power as a co-creator, creator of the universe. And we had a job to do, individually and as a collective, to move through fear, separation, scarcity, okay, beliefs in all these things. So, and moving through our journey to self-love. So the loving universe has said, okay, here it goes. And we get these things, we incarnate into a certain family that's going to give us these wounds for
Very
our
often.
journey. Pardon?
Very often.
Very often. We're going to get whatever wounds we need for this journey to wholeness so that we can come to understand we are magnificent aspects of the divine. So that's a big part of this journey. Do you have anything you want to say on the subject?
Well, I definitely recognize that this is challenging. If this is taken as a piece of information and trusted and taken to be absolutely true, it is a transformative, what's the word, mindset. It is a transformative attitude to or relationship with life, with the universe. It really changes everything to truly trust everything that comes to us. It's not like I should feel guilty because I'm creating or co-creating these not so pleasant things in the world, but to know and to trust that they too are simply what is, and the acceptance and the trust in the process of becoming a higher form of being as we proceed through this life. Remember that we said humanity is a collection of divine, autonomous, sovereign beings who arrived here with a job to do, and that means that we arrived from somewhere. And if we're going back to that somewhere, this is interesting. It's not everybody's mindset, but try it on, see if it fits.
It's very challenging because what it does, it takes us beyond duality. It's a huge leap. And until we go there, we can get there and see this. We are sitting in a lower frequency. We're not going to talk about frequencies here. We're just about, our time is up. But what we understand is that the different frequencies have different laws. And we have the free will, once we understand what creates our frequency through our vibratory level. It's physics. And we're going to go in the next assumption, next week, we're going to go into what are our requests to this conscious loving universe. We just simply don't understand what our requests are, what creates our vibratory level and thereby our reality. And so we'll give you a hint, and that is it's our consciousness. And we have 7 aspects of consciousness that we will bring out next week that will help us understand what our requests, what creates our vibratory level. So now we'll turn it over to Wowza. But one thing we just wanted to throw in, and that is for us to remember that everything in our life happens for us, not to us.
So I am not a victim of circumstance. In fact, I'm a beneficiary of circumstance. Think about that. These things that happen in our lives are those things that guide us and direct us from a higher consciousness. If we take the events in our lives from that perspective, wow, what a difference. Now, Wowza is going to take us on a wondrous journey for 10 minutes, Wowza. And then we want to leave some time at the end so that anybody who would like to chip in with questions or comments or Whatever it is you'd like to do, we'd like to have some time at the end. It is 5:29 right now, so
Wowza, you've got 10 minutes.
10 minutes, and then we'll have 20 minutes of dialogue, which means sharing our experiences today and seeing if we can't just, dialogue's not two people speaking to each other, it is actually talking through something. So we're going to pin you, or rather spotlight you, Wowza, and off we go with the beautiful, beloved Wowza. Yeah? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, then we'll do that. Let me do that. Here you go, Wowza.
Here's Wowza.
Unmute.
Here you are.
So again, Andrew and Connie, it really supports me when I can take a minute, this time 5 seconds, to open my eyes and feel our connectedness, sensing where your eyes are, even though I can't see them very well. Just that intention of hookup with just one human being. Here it is, both of you. And now, see, I'm going to, what we did last week, just open that peripheral vision. And now I see all the squares, and I see, hello, hello. And I notice when I first do that, I'm holding my breath in any new experience. Ooh. There is this, for some, it's like a gripping. It's sometimes even a choking. Many of the assumptions that Andrew was sharing of certainly about the universe, we have had them, I mean, laid on us, hook, line, and sinker. Of you stop that silly noise, behave, act like this. You know, be cool, be nice. That's nice. Oh, Daddy will love you to be nice. And so one can walk through one's whole life with that slight little tilt and that sweet smile. Nothing. See, this is not to be judged. They're beautiful parts we came here to play. They really are. There are survival in a world that was bent on separation and limitation. That was the game that was being played. And as a young child, we were like, I mean, talk about absorbing these ideas. And the thing is, as you said, my God, the universe will give you what you ask. It's like we have to know what this body, the belief that the mind is over the body and this thing just kind of walks around. It is listening to everything we say. It is taking in these assumptions. And I'd like to say, this is the conscious, loving universe from within. And it's giving us exactly what we're asking for. The muscles, we have be strong, be a man, you stop that silliness. What do? The muscles, by God, marching to a war. And this can become so familiar. That we can forget that we were acting strong for Daddy and believe this is who we really are. I mean, it's called, an actor's term, getting lost in your part. And I think that's when we go crazy. I mean, absolutely nuts. Because when we say we're not enough, you know something? It's true. We know we're enough. That's the rub. We know we can, there is no question. All of our energies were literally pouring out in love. to a universe that why not have it come back? And then it wasn't. And so we are playing a game with good reason, like a little fish that gets a whiff of something so delicious, jumps out and goes, oh, I want more of that. And can you imagine? I mean, with that passion, suddenly growing little limbs and crawling out on the rock and going, oh my God, water me fish. And in a way, that's what I feel we're all doing. Now, if you would like to model me, and this will be an excellent thing as well, because anything and everything that I am going to be doing at some point in your childhood growing up, maybe even now, was deemed silly, was deemed frivolous, childish, nothing to pay attention to. You know, all this oohs and ahs and hands waving all over. Oh my God, can't she just sit still and behave? The only problem with social roles, they resist change. They resist change. So you can prod them, they can have all the information in the world, but the body is still in the groove of the assumption. So how do you get below the surface? Well, I've never seen it quite honestly happen to any deeper degree with words, just words. And I'd ask you just for a moment, you know, when we feel anything and we can't show it, which most of the time we couldn't, if you can mirror this little, call it echo, but if tighten your body a little bit and going, oh, can everybody play with that? Just, oh, you know that, oh. It's with fists a little bit. If you can make these fists, Andrew, yeah. It's like, oh, how could I have done that stupid thing? See? Oh my God, I know better than to do this stupid thing. Oh, see, it's, oh. And then, oh, I can do it. Oh God, see, as we do, all of these sounds were forbidden. But those were the sounds of our actual feelings. And we have to dare now just a little bit because see, the sound, not in Brahma. The world is created in sound. This universal loving universe is all sonic, sound vibrations, pulsing to keep us all together in massive unified love. So my God, why not become expressive creators of original intelligence? We were born with this. See, oh, now see, all of that, just play with me. See this, you stay in there, you be good. No, come on, you know, be cool, be nice. See, it's all, we contract our energies in, and not too long it takes, they drain out. And we become a head-centric world. That's all. It's great. I love you, I hate you, see you later, the house is burning, the dog died, and got a great promotion. You know, monotone world. And so now for a moment, I am a conscious, loving universe. You are, we are. So this, see, it's taking the lid off again. Just going, see, all this, can now be transformed into, stepping out of the box of all of the belief systems that have ever limited us. Right? Oh, what is it like to be out of this box? See, we have to, to know it, to feel it. So I give you at the end here, it's called Whispers of Wow. Believe it or not, yawning is the deepest science now in neuroscience. That has nothing to do with putting you to sleep. It has to do with waking you up. So I've refined it into whispers of wow. And it's just this, just mirror me. Oh, see, it's just spreading the field, coming out into the light. And dropping it down to the great so we can feel our feelings again. And if we look out, we just, I see you as that beautiful field. I celebrate you.
Wonderful, Wowza. Thank you. Thank you. That was perfect. Perfect. Wonderful.
It's so fun.
Let's just take a minute, everyone, and just take
Thank
that
you,
in.
Wowza.
Take that in. So we take that in, and now we have a few minutes for discussion, for dialogue.
We've actually got 20 minutes, so we're right on time to the minute.
Wow.
So congratulations, everybody. Congratulations, Wowza. We actually did it on time. This is major. So now we can open it up to anybody who would like to comment, participate, challenge, any of those, anything you like.
Oh, I just wanted to put in 3 seconds. Last few days I've been wearing my glasses. And while I was listening to you talk, I can see better, everything. But while I was listening to you talk, I went, and something in there that says, I have a sty in my eye and I don't want you to see it. Automatic. I mean, this is totally unconscious. I had a good excuse. I wanted to see better, a little better. But when I looked, see, it hides. It was a little mask.
Well, you're the mask
conversation,
You're the mask magician, so I hope everyone continues to come with us every Monday, and they get to meet the mask magician,
the mistress of masks.
Our mask.
In fact, I think at some point we'll do a masking and unmasking exercise one of these Mondays, shall we?
Yes.
Okay.
So let's see.
Thanks, Wowza.
Anybody who wants to raise their physical hand, because we don't have up the chat thing for seeing the raised hand. Does anybody want to comment?
I would like to.
Is this Caro?
Yeah.
Hi, Caro. We don't see you. Are you the one with?
Yeah, I'm in the dark. It's night in Paris.
Okay. You're the one with the lake, the mountain lake.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
We
please
like
speak to us. We know you from other Good of the Whole adventures on the connection field. So, what would you like to contribute or?
You were talking about different frequencies and different laws, and so I'm curious of it. The different laws depending on frequencies.
The laws being different in the different frequencies.
Yes, my dear, you picked that up. That's one thing that we are bringing to the table with this, our construct on the nature of the universe with the trust frequency.
You're muted. Okay.
Yeah, there. I know. That is that when we go into a higher frequency, when we trust, and we live this, okay? the laws are different. The rules of the game are different. It's a different ball game. Jesus showed us this with his loaves and fishes and his miracles. Okay? Other people have shown us. We've seen it in our great literature. We've seen this idea and understanding that there are different realities. There are parallel realities. And we feel that when we walk in trust, our vibratory level shifts and shifts us into another frequency where the laws are expanded. There's a little quote by Henry David Thoreau, who is one of our great transcendentalist authors and thinkers here in America. And what he says in his conclusion to Walden, he wrote a book called Walden, and he says in the conclusion, I learned this, at least by my experiment, that when one walks confidently in the direction of his dreams, he will pass a certain boundary. He will experience a success unexpected in common hours. The laws that apply to him will be expanded, or new laws will be made in his favor, and he will live with the license of a higher order of beings.
And I have an example, if you like, that's practical, that each of us has experienced. That quote from Henry David Thoreau is extraordinary. It's almost like it's a summary of our book. It almost says what the book's about. But I believe everyone here has at some time or other been in love. When I fall in love with somebody, everything seems to change. I'm in a different vibratory state. And you could think of it as magical, or you could think of it as miraculous, because things just work. Things go easily. I remember being a student as a young man. I did much better in my exams when I was in love than when I wasn't. And then at the other end of the spectrum, there's another thing we've all experienced, which is to be in a state of fear or anxiety or scarcity, being concerned about something. And I think we know that we're in that state. Life doesn't work so well. Things happen. We stub our toe on a rock, or we bash our car into something. We do different things. So it would appear that in our personal lives, depending on our personal vibratory state, the rules, the laws are different depending on the state we're in. That's my personal experience, and I'd love to hear from anyone else if they've had that kind of experience.
Or if anyone else wants to make a comment.
Of course, yeah. But
we live this
really
trust frequency, and it's magical how it shows up for us. It's an abundant universe. We came here to have abundant life. We didn't come here to work to survive. We made up a whole reality, and we'll learn more about that next week when we come to understand what creates our reality. Anybody else want to speak? Because we have a few more minutes.
We have 13 more minutes.
So, wow.
And silence is golden as well.
Wowza. Do you have anything to say about Caro's question? Oh, Dawn wants to speak.
All right, Dawn.
I think you're on mute, maybe. Maybe not.
Yeah, I unmuted myself, and I think maybe you'd.
No, we didn't. Anyway, okay. Hello, Don. We hear you.
Yeah, but we didn't give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, so you can say your name and where you're from and what you have to offer.
Sure. My name is Donald Pett. I'm in East Hartford, Connecticut, and I share, I think, the same passion and enthusiasm that everyone on this call has. I was particularly impressed, Wowza, with your, what I call the two most important words for productivity, chronic enthusiasm. If you have chronic enthusiasm, you're going to succeed in whatever you are doing, So you are a good example. Your enthusiasm is contagious. So, I'm, part of the reason I'm here is because, as I said, I think we share the similar ideas. We're looking for a better world. What's the most important to us is sometimes what we don't realize. And that is probably, I think, the most important thing to us is the well-being of our loved ones, the safety of our loved ones. That whatever a person would be doing, I know for me, and I think for most people, if there's anything I was doing, and I suspect anything you were doing, and you had a loved one that was in danger, you would stop what you were doing and you would direct your attention to that person. So that's not the behavior that most of us exhibit to. Most of us spend their time thinking about making money, being more famous, doing other kinds of things. So I think we all share a common theme here, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here. I direct a nonprofit corporation that I created about in 2008.
That's great, John. We don't have much time.
Okay, so I just want to, the question I raised then is, what are your thoughts about, I want to hear more, and we'll do that next meeting, I guess. What are your thoughts about the assumptions we make? One of my heroes was Epictetus, who said it's not the events in our world that's so important, it's the assumptions we make about it. So you've created a book and you've spent a lot of your life, so I'd be interested in hearing more about your assumptions.
So it's not the events in our lives, Don, it's our attitude toward those events, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Which is really, and our attitude is determined by our assumptions about ourselves, about the nature of life, about the nature of the universe. So I often like to picture like a dozen people sitting around in a circle, and there's a certain circumstance that equally affects every one of those 12 people. And every one of those people will have a different, perhaps a radically different, possibly a subtly different take on the same identical circumstance. For example, I think we could take today's situation with those 12 people are sitting right now here in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, and there's a coronavirus pandemic going on. And I believe we would find a range of different attitudes, a different take on the events that are unfolding for us personally and for our loved ones and for our community and for our species. So there are so many different, and this, I feel that we are here to be, I love to call us roving sensory organs of the divine. So if we're all an inextricable part of the loving universe itself, we're each here to manifest a different facet or aspect of that life, of that experience.
And that's an assumption.
And that's our job. And that is an assumption that I personally believe to be true.
Right.
Yeah. So, Don, I think the answer from my perspective is that each of us, based on our fundamental set of assumptions about the universe, will therefore have a differing take on the events in our lives. And if I'm a negative person, I will tend to have a negative take on it and actually thereby create or co-create negative events in my life.
And really,
the opposite pertains.
Yeah, it's our collection of assumptions that creates our worldview. Mm-hmm. And our consciousness. We have these 7 A's of consciousness. That assumption is a key piece of those 7 A's.
It's one of the letters beginning with
because
A.
Those determine our values, our behaviors, everything, our choices. So yes, you've absolutely brought in a key factor, obviously, because our book is 10 Assumptions for a New Paradigm, because a paradigm is a set of assumptions that we take to be true without question.
Without examination, without question very often.
So I wonder if Wowza, do you have anything to say, Wowza?
Or is there anybody else quickly?
Well, let's let her respond.
Okay, Wowza.
Very briefly, everything that we are saying, we can see when we start to pay attention how our body shapes itself to those assumptions. That is the source of our dis-ease, our stress, our strain, our addictive tendencies, because we are desperately attempting to break through the beliefs of deficiency.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So these are two extraordinary questions that came up. So thank you, Don. Thank you, Carol. Is it Carol or Caroline?
Caro, she goes by.
Oh, Caro, C-A-R-O. Oh, I remember you. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, very, very good questions in the sense that here's John. Hello, John. Good to see you.
Andrew, Connie.
Gotta
So
wrap it up.
I was just listening to this last piece. Very interesting. Hi, Don. By the way, how Wowza.
Okay, so we're
Is there a possibility that we can open up to the resonant field beyond our assumptions, so that the reality that rests in that singularity, unified field, is so complete within me that I drop all my assumptions? I wonder if that's possible.
I think people, when they have an epiphany, a near-death experience, I think you've hit something very real for people who have these experiences, a once-in-a-lifetime experience that changes everything, or not, because some people have these experiences and go right back to where they were before.
Right.
And Ken Wilber calls it, well, you can wake up, but do you grow up with it? So you can have a waking up experience, but if you don't grow up with it and take your life behaviors and choices with you, then you're just a person who's down here operating in the old way, who's had an experience, but it didn't alter one's life. So I think you've spoken something.
So John, a third great question. Thank you. Extraordinary.
And Wowza would like to say something.
Wowza. Tell us, darling.
Well, I feel that our energy is used to living in a more contained body language. And we are now opening our sight into an infinite experience of who we are. The energy here hasn't quite matched the expansiveness. And so what we're also suggesting, if this is the inner universe, to the degree I can open up the diversity of breathing, of sounding, I mean to sound and to feel all the feelings from a universality of emotion, I feel, our energies will continually co-create with the infinite energy as self and as flowing right here and right now. So this, to me, is one of the great secrets of ageless vitality, and to sustain it.
And by the way, Wowza is the author of a book called Ageless Vitality. Look it up. And I had the privilege of taking the cover photo.
And she's 83 years old right now.
Don't give away the
this lady. Look at her go.
She's 33. Come on.
Unbridled enthusiasm.
Oh, no, I'm 103. Much more. See, I love ageless, where we can be as old and as young as the hills when we're universal beings.
Here we are. Yep.
We have no limit.
So this is the joy of walking in trust, in knowing that we are loved by a conscious, loving universe. And then within that, coming to understand what our requests are. Until we understand what our requests are to this conscious, loving universe, we fall into victim, perpetrator. We're the victim of circumstance, poor, pitiful me. And what this whole construct does is it lifts us up into this joyful place.
It's another reality, actually. And next week we'll be getting a lot deeper into those aspects.
Yeah.
How we actually can put this to work for us and for ourselves in our lives.
So thank you everyone for coming. We really appreciate it. Karen, Kate, Dawn, Caro, and John, who brought in a very good, wonderful piece into this discussion.
And John
So-
is leading the next session on this series, and it's a men's meeting. John, what's the title of it?
Men in Connection.
Men in Connection. Yeah.
Part of the connection field, goodofthewhole.org.
Yes. So we hope you join us next week, you folks on Facebook and you folks who've come here on Zoom. And to do that, to anybody on Facebook, to get into the Zoom room, you go to goodofthewhole.com and you get the weekly digest of amazing bunch of offerings from indigenous people,
All day,
the
every day.
women's
Right?
groups, the
How do they
indigenous
do that?
grandmothers of Europe, all sorts of wonderful heart-connected encounters on the Zoom room of the connection field. So please
Karen, Susan.
join us next week and come on the connection field and let's have some fun.
So we wish you well and everything amazingly evolutionarily upward.
Evolutionary
Spiraling.
leap upward, spiraling upward.
Thank you, everybody. And,
Thank you, everybody.
you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Karen.
Good to
Thank
see
you
you,
for
Don.
being here.
Yeah.
and John, it sounds like you've got an interesting meeting, but my wife wants me to connect with her for dinner right now. So thank you all.
You look handsome there, Don. You look like you're all ready
He's
to
got old
go.
Albert behind
Like
him.
my haircut?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
Who does your hair?
My wife, actually, she's been my barber for about 70 years now.
Oh, wow.
That's
I
why.
would like to meet her one day.
Not many people can say when they get a haircut from their barber kisses them.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, bring her on one day.
Okay,
I'd like to
thanks,
meet
Bill.
her after all this time.
Lots of love to all.
Lots
Okay,
of love,
bye-bye.
John. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Goodbye, gentlemen. I'll be bowing out. Nice to see you, gents.
You guys, thanks, John.
So stop.